Shalom, this is Brother Shalomah, and first off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawashi, bahasham, Yahawashi. And today I'm going to a lesson about the spirit versus the flesh, or life versus death. And like, the reason I want to go into this is because, like, every brother and sister that's walking on this path to salvation is dealing with like the same, basic challenge of like overcoming the flesh and walking in the spirit. So I feel like it's always something good to go into. So first off, I'm gonna start off with Psalms. The 51st chapter and the 5th verse. And it reads, "Behold, I was shaped in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom." So, from the day that you come out of your mother's womb, you're in transgression, just by being in the flesh. So, from there, I'm going to go to Romans, the 6th chapter. And the 23rd verse. And it reads, Romans 6:23, and it reads, "For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of the Most High is eternal life through Yahawashi our Lord." So just by being born into this flesh, you're like, ordained to die. Like, you're gonna die in this flesh. This flesh is death. That's it's only like route. Why though? That's some precepts right here. The reason why we die. I'm gonna go to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon. The 2nd chapter. In the 23rd verse. And it says, "For the Most High created man to be immortal, and made him to be an image of his own eternity. And nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it." So through transgression, we die. Through sin we die. But how was it? Because we were deceived to believe something that was not the truth. We were deceived to follow after a way that was not the ways of the Most High. And since then, like, it's been only compounding. That's why Adam went from living 960 plus years to we live about, like, at the most 80 years, based off Psalms 118, I believe. No, Psalms like 80 or 81. Now, from there, I want to see if I can find a precept in 2nd Ezra, the 3rd chapter. The 3rd chapter and the 5th verse. And it reads, it says, "And gavest a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thy hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. And thou leddest him into paradise with which thy right hand had planted, before ever the earth came forward, and unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way which he transgressed. And immediately thou appointest death in him, and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, kindreds, and kindreds out of number." So, because of transgression, we die. This is 2nd Ezra 4:30. "For the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness hath it brought up unto this time, and how much shall it yet bring forth into the time of threshing come?" So, like, Adam was created to go off. Like, this whole process of us falling from grace, falling from our first estate, and going through, like, this process of death, is all for the sake of the Most High's script, his plan. Because in the end, he's going to show his power, that he has the power to bring down into hell and the power to raise up to heaven. It's all for the sake of manifesting the Most High's power on the earth and his creation. So, From there, I'm about to go into why the flesh is such a snare it is. This is going to be Romans, the 8th chapter. Ooh, I could probably go through 7 in verse 8. I'm just going to go what I got. All right, so first, I'm going to start with Ecclesiastes 3:11. Ecclesiastes 3:11. And it reads, He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that the Most High maketh from the beginning to the end. So the point I want, it says, also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that the Most High maketh from the beginning to the end. So basically the Most High has blocked you by your own carnal desire. He's blocked you from having a proper understanding of him, which is the tree of life, and a proper understanding of his works, so knowing like what happened in the beginning and what's going to happen in the end and all in between. Like basically you're blinded by your own heart's desire, especially when it's set on the flesh. Specifically when it's set on the flesh. But why though? So I'm going to read Ecclesiastes 1:1 because it's all based in what the fundamentals of what the flesh is, why it's a snare when you put your heart's desire on it, and why it's liberation when you put your heart on the spirit, because the flesh is made subject to vanity. Like your body is made subject to corruption. Like your body can be damaged by anything. You can step off a curb and break your ankle. You can eat the wrong thing and get sick. The sun goes out, you're gonna freeze to death, and that'll kill you. So like your body is subject to the things around it, but the spirit is only subject to the Lord above. That's what's like the difference. This is Ecclesiastes 1:1. It says, the words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What profit hath the man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? What profit hath the man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? So what vanity is something that does not last forever. Vanity is something that ends, something that corrupts, something that falls apart. This is Ecclesiastes 1:14. It says, I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. So just by something being vain, it vexes your spirit. Like you go out here and you drive in your car, and your car is vanity, and you crash it, it's gonna vex you in the spirit if your heart is like entangled with that possession. So I'm gonna go back to Ecclesiastes 3:11 and read that one more time. And it says, He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that the Most High maketh from the beginning to the end. Okay, so by you having your heart set on the things of this world, which are mostly things of the flesh, like what can you buy in the world that's of the spirit? But the word. You can only go out and buy a Bible, and you can't buy the understanding. So like you can only buy things of the flesh from this world. This world doesn't serve your spirit at all. So by you having your heart set on the things of the flesh, which are things of vanity, things of naught, and you put in your when you desire something, you feel like that's gonna fulfill you. You feel like that's what you actually need. Because you can eat, but that don't mean you have to have your desire set on eating and set on like sleeping and set on that. Like that's not like your hope and your faith and your confidence is not in doesn't have to be in the things of the flesh in order for you to sustain the flesh. So from there I'm gonna go to Ecclesiasticus 17:16. Kal Halalyam la Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi harakak. This is Ecclesiasticus 17:16. It says, every man from his youth is given to evil. So even from your youth, you be going off, like you might like say something crazy to your parents or whatever you do from a young age up. Like it's like embedded in you for you to go off. Just the same way a seed of evil was sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. Your heart is like set to go off too. And it says, neither could they make to themselves fleshly hearts for stony. So you can't even change the way like you are. You can't change your ways. Only the Lord can soften your heart to be to feel His fear and to turn towards His ways and to keep His commandments and keep faith in Him. Only the Lord has the power to do that. So from there, I'm gonna go to Romans 8:1. Romans 8:1. And it reads, it says, there is therefore no condemnation to them which are in the Mashiach Yahawashi, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. Now, there's it happened in the Old Testament where you had Israel went off, and you had Moses and Aaron who are like basically not like in a spiritual way, they stood between the Most High and us. Like Moses was our mediator at that time. They stood between the Most High and us to like appease His wrath. So like they were able to like quell His fury when He was about to destroy Israel. And the same way, the death of Yahawashi brings about mercy for us. So it says there is therefore no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahawashi, those that believe in Him in truth and sincerity, and who walk not after the ways of the flesh, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. So those who their heart's desire and their mind is single pointed on the Spirit, there's no condemnation to you, even though you may go off in the flesh. Your sins are covered through the sacrifice of Yahawashi, just by your belief. So, verse 2, it says, for the law of the Spirit of life and the Mashiach Yahawashi have made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, and that it was weak through the flesh, Yahweh sent in His own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh. So the law of the Spirit of life and the Mashiach Yahawashi have made me free from the law of sin and death. And the law of sin and death is the wages of sin is death. So if you commit sin, you're gonna get death. So Yahawashi basically frees you from that, because if you were still under the old covenant, when you go off, you have to pay like blood. Your blood has to be the propitiation. So Yahawashi basically like frees you up from that obligation, which is like set in its law. Like the Most High is like set that in stone. So the only thing that like takes you out of that binding, is Yahawashi. It says, for what the law could not do, and that it was weak through the flesh, you couldn't keep the law perfectly because you were in the flesh, subject to sin. Yahweh sent in His own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh. So Yahawashi walked in perfection, even though He was in sinful flesh. He didn't commit sin at all. Therefore, he was deemed a perfect sacrifice in the eyes of the Lord Yahweh, in order to be a propitiation for our sins instead of our own blood, His blood instead of our blood. Verse 4, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh but after the Spirit. So your belief in Yahawashi is your righteousness. So like you believing in Him makes you perfect. It makes you like worthy of salvation, because His righteousness by your belief is your righteousness. Verse 5, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit the things of the Spirit. So a carnal man is going to mind carnal things, and a man of the Spirit is going to mind the things of the Spirit, like laws, commandments, and faith. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. So to be carnally minded is death, because the flesh is sin, and everything out here is subject to vanity. So if your mind is focused on vanity and sin, you're going to be in sin. But if your mind is focused on life and peace, and who's the way, the truth, and the life, that's Yahawashi, and who's the Prince of Peace. So if your mind is single focused on Yahawashi, that's going to be your deliverance, your salvation. because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High. The reason why the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High is because your body is subject to death, and the Most High is immortal. So the Most High is immortal. Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi is immortal, and you're immortal. So you are mortal. So like you die, and the Most High does not die. So like that is a those are like two opposing like differences, you know. And you know, can't nobody come against the Lord. So if you focus on carnality, it's gonna be to your demise. So from there, I want to go to. I'm gonna read this again. It says, because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. So the carnal mind is against the commandments. And if you're against the commandments, you're going to be a transgressor of the commandments. And that means you're going to be in sin, and the wages of sin is death. So the Most High is going to give you the reward of your work. So, and one thing I want to bring out is that this is going to be Psalms 119. Psalms 119 in verse 142. And it reads, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So if your mind cannot be subject to the truth, if your mind cannot be subject to the law, your mind cannot be subject to the truth. Your carnal mind cannot be subject to the truth. So, therefore, like by process of elimination, if you're not in the law, if you're not keeping the law, if you're not keeping the truth, you're in lies, you're in deception, you're in deceit, So, and like it just doesn't mean anything. It has no continuance. Lies will never last. They always fall apart. This is Psalms 116 and 11. And it says, I said in my haste, all men are liars. All men are liars because of this precept right here. Romans 8 and 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope. So just because you are subject to vanity, subject to corruption, you are a liar because your mind is like subject to that as well. The carnal mind is subject to death. It's subject to sin. Let me see. So to be carnally minded makes you a liar. It makes you a deceiver. Like whether you do it intentionally or not, you can't tell the truth from a carnal mind because the carnal mind is not able to be subject to the truth, to the law, to the word. It's all one. And to be carnally minded is enmity with the Most High. So like the Most High is a spirit, and those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So your flesh is going against the spirit. It makes you an enemy of the spirit. So I think from there, I want to go to Romans. No, not Romans. One second. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Romans 3 and 4. Romans chapter 3 and verse 3, I'm going to start with. It says, for what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? God forbid. Yeah, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mayest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou art judged. So man is subject to vanity. That's why man is a liar. Vanity is like one and the same with like, it's just not the truth, because the truth is everlasting and vanity is but for a moment. So truth and vanity cannot be like, they're not one and the same. So that just goes to show that if you're not one and the same with truth, what are you? You're outside of the truth, so therefore you're a lie. This is Psalm 62 and verse 9. Psalm 62 and verse 9. And it reads, Psalm 62 and verse 9, it says, Surely men of a low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. Now, vanity and lies are one and the same. Like, vanity and lies are the same thing. You know, because, like, say you, like, you believe in, like an idol. An idol is vanity, and it's a lie, because you believe that that's God, but it's not. So, therefore, you're in falsehood. So, you know, if you're trusting in vanity, when you should be trusting in the Lord, you're trusting in lies. And really, your desire should be on that which gives you life. Because why is your desire on food and women, which, you know, women basically equate to sex. That's why, like, you want a woman, you know. And what else? Sleep and cars and a house and all things of the flesh, because you feel like that gives you life. You feel like that's what's gonna fulfill you. That's what's gonna sustain you. That's what you feel like. But that never was the thing that sustains you. The thing that sustains you is just this. Matthew 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. So you were created by the word of the Lord. You were created by his commandment. So that's what gives you life even now. Like, you might think that you eating food is giving you life, but the Most High has ordained you to be alive every moment that you live. So from there, I'm going to go to, I need Psalms. No, I'm not going to go back to Psalms. I think I'm going to go to Psalms 51 again, and I'm going to go to 1 John 3 and 4. See where it leads, Lord willing. Psalm 51 and 5, it says, Behold, I was shaped in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. So, from there, I'm going to go to 1 John. First John 3 and verse 4. It says, Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is a transgression of the law. So, like, what is the law? The law is truth. And another characteristic about the law, or the truth, is Baruch, the 4th chapter. In the first verse, where it reads, This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. So the law continues from the beginning all the way to forever. So, this is verse 4. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. So to leave the law is to transgress it. So therefore, transgression of the law is sin, and the wages of sin is death. So really, you know, so the law is the truth. The law endures forever. The law is everlasting. So by you being a transgressor of the law, you're in error, you're in law, you're in lies, you're in falsehood. So, you know, this is verse 5. And ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin. Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Whosoever sinneth hath not seen him, neither knoweth him, or neither known him. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinned from the beginning. So being a devil and being a sinner is one and the same. So if you in sin, willful sin, you're of the devil, and therefore you're a devil. For the devil sinned from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of the Most High was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Whosoever is born of the Most High doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin because he is born of the Most High. And this the children of the Most High are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doth not righteousness is not of the Most High, neither he that loveth not his brother. So, to be a sinner makes you a devil. Okay, so from there, I think I'm gonna go to 1 Corinthians. So with you having the world set in your heart, and you cannot figure out, or you cannot know the works of the Most High and make from the beginning to the end, that makes you blind to the truth. And like the reason that is because you're made subject to vanity, or you're made subject to the flesh, subject to sin, and subject to death. 1 Corinthians. First Corinthians 2 and verse 12. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of the Most High, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of the Most High, which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth. Let the Most High be true, and every man a liar. But which the Holy Spirit teacheth, the Holy Spirit of truth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. So a natural man is also a carnal man. So to be carnally minded is enmity against the Most High, because the carnal mind cannot be subject to the law of the Most High, or the carnal mind is not subject to the law of the Most High, and neither indeed can be. So if you're not subject to the law of the Most High, you're not subject to the truth. So therefore, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual, judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. For who hath known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct him? No one. But we have the mind of a Mashiach. So if you carnally minded, you can't even know the truth. That's why I think I'm gonna bring that out. This is John. I think I want to get Romans just to connect the point. Yeah, let me get that. This is going to be Romans, the 8th chapter as well. Romans 8. And and 4. It says, for the law of the Spirit of life and of Mashiach Yahawashi hath made me free from the law of sin and death. So this is John 8 and 32. It says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. They answer him, we be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, you shall be made free? Yahawashi answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. So, by knowing the truth, by knowing the Holy Spirit of the Lord, and knowing his Son, most of all. Verse 35, and the servant abideth not in the house forever, but the Son abideth forever. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. But look, it says, I know that ye are Abraham's seed, but ye seek to kill me, because my word hath no place in you. I speak that which I have seen with my father, and ye do that which ye have seen with your father. So, like, let me read that one more time. It says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So, by knowing Yahawashi and having faith in him, that makes you free from this flesh. And by being willfully in sin, or being in sin in general, Yahawashi answered them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is a servant of sin, and the servant abideth not in the house forever. So we die, we don't abide in our house forever, but the Son abideth forever, because he's immortal now, and has always been Alpha and Omega. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. So it says, I know that ye are Abraham's seed, but ye seek to kill me, because my word have no place in you. Because the carnal mind is enmity with the Most High. So they had a carnal mind, so they wanted to destroy Yahawashi. They became an enemy of the Most High, which is a damn death sentence. And this is verse 43. It says, why do you not understand my speech? Even because you cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And because I tell you the truth, you believe me not. Which of you convinceth me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do you not believe me? He that is of the Most High heareth the Most High's words. Ye therefore hear them not, because ye are not of the Most High. So, like, to be carnally minded is death. And he that sinneth is of the devil, because the devil sinned from the beginning. Now, I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. This is John 17 and 17. Hey! So funny. John 17 and 17, it says, sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. So the law is truth. The word is truth. First John 5 and 6. And it reads, this is he that came by water and blood, even Yahawashi HaMashiach, not by water only, but by water and blood. And it is the Spirit that beareth witness, because the Spirit is truth. So the Spirit, the word, and the law are all truth. The commandment of the Most High is truth. So, and let me get John 14 and 6. So, we were made subject to vanity. We were conceived in sin. This flesh is made to die. The seed of evil was sown in Adam's heart from the beginning. The Most High set the world in our heart, that no man can understand the work of the Most High from the beginning to the end. And that's all like the, that's all like the condition of the battle. That's all like the circumstance where you stand in this flesh. This flesh is subject to death, but we're all seeking eternal life. So how we get that is through our belief in Yahawashi, because all are concluded under sin, and no man shall be justified in the eyes of the Most High by the works of the law. And there's a precept where it says, if thou shalt mark iniquity, who should stand? So there's not one good man upon the earth that doeth good, or there's not one man upon the earth that doeth good and sinneth not. So even Yahawashi said, there is none good but the Father. He said, why callest thou me good? There is none good but the Father in heaven. So like none of us are like exempt from death. We're all, subject to vanity. We're all still caught in this flesh. We all still go off on a day-to-day basis. But our faith in Yahawashi is what's going to bring us unto everlasting life. And there's a precept where it says, where is boasting? There is none. Like, because faith is a gift of grace. Like we didn't give ourselves faith. So it's all by predetermination and predestination that we are able to come into this righteousness, into everlasting life, Lord willing, and to break these chains of this flesh. So I think I want to go into Jude, the first chapter. Jude chapter, well, it's only one chapter, but Jude chapter 1 and verse 6. And it says, and the angels which kept not their first estate, which is during the time of Adam, but left their own habitation, or you could say in the heavens as well, who kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness, unto the judgment of the great day. So the chains of darkness are this flesh. So, like, in order to break darkness, in order to, because if it's dark is, all get out, then what do you need? You need light in order to, break through the darkness. So, to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So let me get, I need Matthew, the 6th chapter. And the 22nd verse. It says, the light of the body, I'm going to start with verse 21. It says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So if you treasure this world, you're not going to be able to understand the truth. Verse 22, because the Most High set the word in their heart so that no man can understand the works that the Most High doeth from the beginning to the end. So therefore you're going to be blinded if your treasure is in this world, because your heart is going to be there also. But if your treasure is Yahawashi, you count all things done to win Yahawashi, all things are lost to gain Yahawashi, then your heart's going to be set on him, and therefore you're going to be able to understand the truth. I don't think I got John 14 and verse 6, but let me read that. And he says, John 14 and 6, and it says, Yahawashi saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So Yahawashi is the truth. If you want to understand the truth, the reality, then you need to have faith in Yahawashi and set your heart on him. This is verse 22. It says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So the light of the body, like what you see is like with the eyes, with the because it's not talking about these eyes, because you don't see anything with these fleshly eyes but what you need to for survival. But with the mind, like you see, like you contemplate things, you look through things, like you look through knowledge, and you try to find a way to navigate your way to like sustainment, to fulfillment, to like to what satisfies your life, to to remain. This is verse 23. If thy eye, I'm gonna start with 22 again. It says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? So if your eye is evil, if your eye is set on the flesh, your body's gonna be full of darkness, because the body is full of darkness. These chains of darkness. This flesh is chains of darkness. So if your mind is set on that, your mind is gonna be chained, subject to vanity, subject to bondage, and you're gonna be in gross darkness. You're not gonna be able to see. So let me see 1 second. I'm going to go to Galatians 3 and 10. Let me go to Hebrews 2 and 14 real quick. This is Hebrews 2 and 14. It says, for as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had power of death, that is the devil. So, like, the devil can basically manipulate you only because you die. Because that's why you have fear of him. This is verse 15. And delivered them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. And delivered them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. So by fearing death, you're almost serving two masters. Because the Most High does not die, so there's no death in the Lord. So if you're fearing death, then you're not fearing the Most High. Even though the Most High, to our power, belongeth the issues of death. But you're supposed to fear Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi alone. Not the corruption of the flesh, because the flesh is going to die. So if you fear death, then that means you're fearing the inevitable for this body. That means you're fearing the truth almost. But you're really fearing like something that's false, because like this flesh, the death of this flesh is not the death of you. So therefore, it's not the truth. You don't truly die. So from there, I'm going to go to Galatians. Galatians 3 and verse 10, it says, for as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. For it is written, cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. So, by breaking the commandments, you get curses. Like the curses in Deuteronomy 28:15 to the 68th verse. Those curses, like a lot of those curses are like they amount to death. The Most High destroying people. And the curse of the law is death. The wages of sin is death. Galatians 3 and 11. It says, but that no man is justified by the law in the sight of the Most High. It is evident, for the just shall live by faith. And faith in who? Faith in Yahawashi, bahasham, Yahawashi, and all the prophecy. And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them. Hamashiach hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. The Most High has laid upon him the iniquity of us all. For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree, that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Yahawashi Hamashiach, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. And what's this promise of the Spirit? Everlasting life, the truth. Through faith, though, not through the works of the law, even though we established the law. So, I'm about to go to Galatians 5 and verse 16. It says, this I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. So it's saying the same thing that it said in Romans, the 8th chapter, where it says, right here, Romans 8 and 2, it says, for the law of the Spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahawashi hath made me free from the law of sin and death. So if you walk in the Spirit of life of Hamashiach Yahawashi, you are not under the law of sin and death. And this is verse 17. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. The carnal mind is enmity with the Most High. So it's lusting against. They're contradictory. They're enemies. So they're fighting one another, and the Most High is a spirit, and they that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. So that's John, the 4th chapter, and then the 20th verse down. So from there, I'm going to continue reading. And it says, and these are contrary the one to the other, that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have told you in time past, they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. If you live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. So with that, I want to say Shalom and Kal Halalyam la Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, wa harakak wadash, barakatayam la Yasharala, bahasham Yahawashi, aman. Shalom.